I was listening to Pierre Poilievre's Canada First rally the other day. It was a great speech. I did a whole video about how great it was. But as I thought more and more about it, I realized that something was missing. Pierre talked about building the Energy East pipeline. He talked about building an Arctic military base, all the good stuff we want to hear about. Those are fundamental infrastructure projects that we need to secure the future of our country, right? But what happened to fixing the budget? What happened to fixing the budget? Fixing the budget has been a fundamental part of Pierre Poilievre's platform from the beginning.
3, cap spending with a dollar-for-dollar law to bring down inflation and interest rates. The dollar-for-dollar law will require the government find $1 new of savings for every new dollar of spending. By capping government, taxpayers and the economy can catch up with the cost. We can balance the budget again and bring down inflation and interest rates. This dollar-for-dollar principle is the one that single moms, small businesses, and seniors use to run their finances, and it is what we are demanding the government implement as well.
I went on the Conservative Party of Canada website and it is still there. So I've noticed in recent weeks, certainly since Donald Trump's tariff threats became a thing, that he no longer talks about fixing the budget, not with the same vim as he was talking about it before. So what happened? What happened, man? What happened to all the dollar-for-dollar cuts to government spending that I was promised? Like, why has that gone missing in the last few weeks? It's probably deliberate too. Obviously, if we're going to pursue these big infrastructure projects, you're going to have to pay for them somehow. So that part doesn't actually even bother me. What I do not like is this feeling that I'm being conned. Let me explain. Okay, so think about this. The Trudeau government bought the Trans Mountain Pipeline for around $5 billion, right? Building the pipeline ended up costing around $31 billion when it was completed in 2024. Trust me, building the Energy East pipeline across Canada is going to cost you significantly more than that. Like, we're a gigantic country. Pierre Poilievre says he will cut foreign aid in order to pay for some of these infrastructure projects. Do you know how much we paid in foreign aid in 2024? I bet you don't. We spent just over $8 billion US on foreign aid in 2024. Now, that's still a lot of money, but certainly that's not enough to pay for the Energy East pipeline, for example. So as I said, it feels like we're being conned. So it is either a government led by Pierre Poilievre is going to incur an even higher deficit to pay for these capital projects, or they will sell off what they can to private investors. We've seen this movie before with Kinder Morgan and the Trans Mountain Pipeline, right? Whatever choice you make here, though, there's just too many capital projects in our future. You can't pay for that with foreign aid and tax cuts. Like, tax cuts actually do the opposite, you know? So now the other case here could be that the budget will be balanced sometime in the future that hasn't been defined yet by Pierre Poilievre. He has talked about the business case for selling our oil to Europe. The idea being that we can sell our oil at a premium to the Europeans instead of shafting ourselves with the Americans. Most of you will know that we sell our oil to the Americans at a discount. Maybe over a few decades, the pipeline will pay for itself and we can start to take profits. The Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion, for example, will take about 30 years to pay for itself. So that won't help us for the next little while if we're looking to balance the budget with that revenue. So I think it is safe to say Pierre Poilievre is not going to balance the budget. Coincidentally, I think Mark Carney has been more honest about this issue. Although you could say he's full of shit too. Just listen to this.
Will you balance the budget, and how quickly?
A couple of things there. One of the things we're going to do later this week is go through our new fiscal, what I would propose as our fiscal rules. Core to that is to reduce spending of the government, so to balance our operational spending over the course of the next 3 years. To be absolutely clear, what that means in terms of operational spending, it is all the programs that the government runs. It is the transfers to provinces, which, as you know, health and education transfers. It's transfers to individuals. It's debt service, which continues to increase as government goes up. So we will balance that over 3 years. Where we are willing to borrow is to invest and grow this economy. That is an absolute crucial point.
So there'll be a deficit.
It is a fundamental difference between the approach the government has taken up until now. It is a fundamental difference between the approach of Pierre Poilievre, which is a trickle-down, thousand flowers.
But there will be a deficit. It'll just be, you'll justify it because it's investing in the economy. Is that?
Investing in the economy at a time when we absolutely have to build as a country.
So Mark Carney says he will balance the operational budget over 3 years, but then he has also proposed deficit spending to grow the economy. So I think it's safe to say irrespective of whoever gets elected in the next election, they are not balancing the damn budget. Like, I will say this though. I like that McCartney put a timeline on balancing the operational side of the budget. That's not something we've seen from Pierre Poilievre. That said, he is bullshitting. It's just like saying your right pocket is in debt, but your left pocket doesn't owe money. Like, it makes no sense. You're operating in a deficit. That's just the fact of life. The fact is, a government led by McCartney would also continue the deficit spending. So are we just doomed to a debt spiral irrespective of who we choose in the next election? I will say this though. I think most people assume deficit spending is bad, and it is when it gets away from you. It is the same as your credit card debt or line of credit in that way. You can use that leverage to create opportunities for yourself. You can use it to fund growth. We do this in our everyday lives with mortgages, right? If you invest in the stock market as well, there are people with balls of titanium that are levered like crazy. Sometimes they make a lot of money. Sometimes they blow up their lives. But hey, you only live once, okay? As long as the government can tether spending to GDP growth, then we'll be fine. I think McCartney is saying openly what Pierre Poilievre won't outrightly tell you. Pierre has, in a sense, boxed himself into a corner on this issue. He is a conservative. He has talked all this time about cutting government spending, fixing the budget, and income tax cuts. Now, that's going to be hard to do with all the building in our future. Building costs money. But I want to hear from you guys, though. Is fixing the budget important to you? And obviously, if the government continues to live beyond its means, we could see that as taxes in the future. Maybe we'll put 100% tariffs on American goods. Now, that would help us raise some revenue. I'm kidding, okay? Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.